My babies, I have received a package, and only about a handful of you know what this package is. I have been waiting patiently for this for quite a few weeks. This is a super emotional moment for me. This is my second deck. So those of you who have been following me for a while, you might remember I do have a tarot deck. It is called Memento Mori. It's a Mac Miller tarot deck. I actually had someone order one at the exact same time I was ordering this one, so that was super convenient. I was able to pull them both out together. But I wanted to open this and take a look at this with you guys. And just so you know, now that you're seeing it, this is how it comes, okay? No box, no book. Sorry, this is an expensive indie project. But I did do a little write-up for you guys, for those of you who do actually decide to order this. Kind of talking about what I would have talked about in a book, explaining what this is, how I came to make it, and the intentions behind using it and working with it. So I will go over that in another video as well. But just looking at this, I'm very excited that it turned out well. I was nervous because, as you can see, there's writing around the border. It's like a little blessing for the deck itself, for you to use to either awaken it or to like imbue the energy of your ancestor spirits in the deck and things like that. And I was nervous because I made this linen cardstock, and I was afraid that the linen would cause that to be unreadable, but it's not, so that's good. The reason that I made this one linen is because there's 80 cards in this deck. So as you'll notice, there's no back to these cards. They are front and back cards. They're just messages. And I didn't put title cards. I didn't put any nonsense in here, literally just a deck of cards, because again, this is 80 cards front and back. This was a very big undertaking of a deck. And I think I told you guys before that the way that I created this was on the back of tarot cards. So that's why there's 80 of them. There was 78 cards plus 2 title cards in the deck. And I worked with my ancestors to channel the messages on the cards. We did upright and reverse, which is why there's 2 messages per card. So the reason that I didn't include tarot images or tarot names or anything in the deck is because they weren't specifically relevant to the messages. For those of you who are very well acquainted with the tarot deck, you might be able to pull out like a little nugget of information of which card this came from, like this message was channeled from, but it is not relevant in any way. It's not important. I didn't want this to be tarot based because it's just messages from the ancestors. So I'm very proud of this. This background that I have on here is one that I created with my daughter, actually, my little 5-year-old baby child. And it's supposed to emanate orbs because this is supposed to be an ancestor deck, spirits of ancestors. So this is different colors. We played around with it for a while. I think the background took a really long time and compared to how easy this was for me to make, right? But yeah, I went with linen cardstock, so it'll be much easier to shuffle. It's much more malleable. Not gilded to make it more affordable because my special edition of the Mac Miller deck that is linen cardstock is gilded, so that one is much more pricey. But yeah, these are literally just messages, so it doesn't matter how you shuffle them. Whether they come out upright or reverse, whether the deck is backwards or forwards. The whole point of this is to work with your ancestors and to form a bond with them, to form a connection with them and the ancestor realm. So this is to work with the ancestors of your highest good, whether that be the ancestors of your lineage, ancestors of spirits that you work with, ancestors from deities, things like that. Ancestors of my highest good is a very broad term, and I have learned through my years of working with the ancestor realm that that doesn't always just necessarily mean the ancestors of your bloodline. So I really wanted to create a deck to help people start to facilitate this process of having a relationship with their ancestors, because I know it is really hard and really confusing to a lot of people how to start working with your ancestors, why we need to work with our ancestors, things like that. And I noticed that there are no specific ancestor decks on the market. When I was looking for an ancestor deck, I had a really hard time, and I had to use a lot of other decks in place of an ancestor deck, and none of them really fit. So I just created my own that was supposed to be a language between me and my ancestors. I actually never intended to share it or publish it or anything because it was so specific to me and my ancestors and the language we had created together and the time that we spent together. But as time progressed and the more I started getting closer with my spirits and doing more spirit work and really committing to my life, once I created this, immediately after I created this, they told me, you remember that ancestor deck? Yeah, we're gonna make that one too. And I fought with them back and forth on this one for a long time because one, it was supposed to be like mine. Two, I'm not a creative person, so coming up with a background and everything, trying to figure out if we were doing two messages on the front card and making a back, like things like that, it was just a lot for me mentally to try to deal with. And this project took me, I think, about 6 months because I was so like overwhelmed with it. Like every time I would sit down to do something with it, I was just so super overwhelmed and I just didn't want to deal with it. And any little decision I made took so much out of me, especially because I was doing it during my pregnancy, during the first 2 trimesters of my pregnancy. And I was very tired. I was anemic through the first 2 trimesters of my pregnancy. I was having a really rough time doing anything. And trying to deal with this seemed impossible. And I didn't think I was going to get it done before the baby came. But luckily, once the streak of the 3rd trimester hit, I got lucky enough to be able to change doctors, and the doctors that I had changed to were exponentially more helpful and got me back on track, got me feeling so much better, and I was able to find the will and motivation to actually finish this deck, like the fire under my butt to just sit there and commit. One really hard day of just sitting there and busting out like 40 cards and just being done with it. And I'm very proud of this. My daughter is also very proud of seeing that I made a deck of cards with her help, with her image. She said she wants to help me with another one. I think that's really sweet. But I'm very emotional about this right now, not just because I'm pregnant, but this is my 2nd deck, technically 3rd because I have a standard and a special edition of the Mac Miller tarot deck. But this one is very near and dear to my heart. This one's very special, and very proud of it. I'm very happy that it's here, and I will do a walkthrough of this for you guys as well. And yeah, I'll do another video. I'll do a follow-up reading from the little insert that I have for the deck so that you guys can see what that looks like as well, since we don't have a box, we don't have a book. But I will do the same thing for this deck that I have done for my Mac Miller deck, which is sew up a little tarot bag for you guys specific for this. So when you get the Mac Miller tarot deck, it comes with a little Kool-Aid tarot bag, and I'll find one specifically for this, the same way I did for the Adopted Tarot and Oracle deck. I did the little stars, right? So I'll make tarot bags for you guys. These are considered pre-order items because it does take a really long time for them to get to me. And then I want to package them for you with a little tarot bag, a little selenite stick, a little handwritten note, things like that. So expect that if you are buying one of my decks, it's probably going to take like a month or so to get to you. But if you are interested, go to starsparrowtarot.com. I will be putting this one up on the website within the week. I'm very excited, and I'm very grateful for those of you guys who have stuck around with me waiting to see this deck as well. It's finally here. I'm so excited. I can't wait for you guys to see it.